Okay, so last time we did our little challenge of trying to see how far I can get through girls without getting bored in episode 2, and people might complain, oh, because you were talking over the whole thing, but no, my standard was pretty objective. You had 2 episodes, and so much of it was focused on sexual stuff that, again, not even that there's anything wrong with that, but just as a standard of, they were sort of milking that too much, either the gratuitous sexual scenes, or humor to do with it, or even conversations to do with it, and drama to do with it. In other words, they have no other imagination outside of that, and they're kind of milking it. And literally, because she's pregnant, they'll be milking it like a baby, haha. But whatever. Just the point is that, or like whatever, for the baby's milk. The point is that it was so much. So at that point, I did kind of check out a little bit. I kind of need maybe something, because see, I don't want to pause it. That's the biggest thing. Normally my style would be suited for, I would pause it a lot, and then I would keep giving theories or reactions or little, spiels to do with what's happening, come up with a whole theory or hierarchy or something. But then instead what you have is, I'm not able to actually do that because, whatever, just for the sake of time, because then it'll take too long, for the sake that I'm driving. So almost a series that's like less dialogue, where there's like these breaks in between. That one was like non-stop talking, which most of these things are going to be. But so here I'm going to decide actually what to watch, and last time that was very difficult to do. The point is, if somebody was suggesting, they could suggest almost anything in existence, because I haven't seen almost any series ever. But yeah, I'll consider that a legitimate boredom meter maxed out, because the first episode I wasn't bored at all. It was good. They introduced some other conflicts to do with money and the girl's parents, who I still don't even think I really got her name, but the girl's parents, with respect to not giving her money anymore. So there's some other things going on, at least her trying to get a job. But then the second episode devolves into too much of the same thing to do with that. I might even just do this one, fuck it, quiet on set, or I could do it like I'll watch each thing until I get bored and then move on to the next one, even midway. Right, like I at least watch the whole episode of that. I won't just stop mid-episode. Even if I do get bored, I'll count that against the whole episode. But the point is here that you're in a position where you're basically able to do it in such a way that you can, quiet on set. So I'll be objective and critical of how they portray this, because my whole position on this situation, assuming it's to do it with what I think is to do. Oh, this is like a show too. I thought it was just a documentary. I think this is to do with that guy, whose name I even forget, the guy who's like, he's exploiting young female actresses and stuff. My only problem is that, like, you see all this stuff come out after the fact, but what about during it? Like, and you can say, that's what it was reporting on, all the stuff that they tried to push back during, but I don't like this standard. The same thing happens with certain cases, like, 20 years ago, this guy did something to me, right? We hear this, and like Me Too culture and stuff. I'm not criticizing or even doubting that it happened. I'm criticizing the societal process. Like, the real objection should be, the law enforcement should have taken this seriously then, or investigated it then, or, something should have been addressed then. It doesn't do any good 20 years later. What's that going to do? Because it's not a fair process either. Like, maybe, what evidence can you possibly bring then? Like, just testimony, or just the fact that everybody says it, which, again, I'm not doubting that, but pretend it was murder, right? 20 years after a murder happened, you say, this person did it. Okay, fine. But you would still need to procure some physical evidence and actually prove it. So even for a charge as serious as murder, which, of course, the charge we're talking about is very serious as well, equally serious, whatever you want to say, you still need some physical evidence, or you need something, and so it's hard to get that 20 years later. So my only standard is, let's stop it as it happens, rather than, we'll turn a blind eye because, this person's so powerful, which I don't really even get that logic. Like, there's a lot of people in show business who are powerful, so what? The other powerful people are standing by and letting the one powerful person do what they want? Like, there's no oversight. Like, it makes no sense. So it doesn't mean it didn't happen or whatever. It just means that you have to... I don't even want to watch this, dude. It's going to be stupid. So now I'll spend the whole time deciding what to watch again, because I really don't know. But no, I am liking this little Bluetooth headphone that I have. So now while I'm driving, I have one little earbud in, and then I can just listen to it that way without having to worry about wires or the cringy appearance of it, or whatever you want to call it. So what I do have to figure out is I have to figure a way to basically... I mean, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to go into it with a negative attitude, like it's going to be dumb and let no tragedy go to waste, like make a Netflix documentary anytime something bad happens, right? Just, you got to make a series out of it. Which, don't get me wrong, some of those can be good, but not that I've really seen them, but whatever. Eileen Wuornos, the movie Monster or whatever, right? Where she's a killer and they turn that into something. So, it's hard to say what my favorite genre would be. I like drama, I like detective stuff, I like maybe even some of the pseudo-real stuff, although I hate when that's used as a mark of quality, like, oh, because it's real or based on something real, that somehow makes it better than something that isn't. You know what, let's give it a shot, but I just don't even really care, man. That's the thing, I just don't care. But no, I'm going to like either fact check it somehow or be like objective critical. So here, let's watch this. Quiet on Set, Season 1, Episode 1. And again, I would have thought it's just a documentary overall, not a whatever. Or maybe this is about multiple things. Maybe it's not even about that and I'm just assuming that. Or just like an ad for something that I can't even tell. I have no idea what's going on, but these ads at the beginning are stupid because it's like you pay for ad-free. The Synon fix. Yeah, I love this mentality though. Oh, it's okay to let this stuff come out after. Series investigate the abuses experienced by children from the adults they were expected to trust. But oh my god, dude, this is gonna be so. Oh my god. Nickelodeon. So what is this guy's name going to be? Again, you need some parent oversight. You need some kids can refuse to work with people still. I know it's an incentive, like, oh, you don't want to ruin your career, but if they're doing something so bad, then don't work with them and just let it go. But we didn't have HBO Max. She's saying all the things we don't have. Oh god, I'm done with this, dude. Like, what is the point? What is the point? I don't like this because it feels exploitative. Like, you're gonna just, oh, some tragedy happens and let's make a big dramatized thing about it. It's like, if you want a news report, get a news report. If you want something else, entertainment, get it in some fictional sense. This is mixing it together in a bad way. This is such a two-faced thing, to be honest with you, because you're gonna say Dan something, like either as somebody was Dan Schneider, as he was rising up the ranks or being successful all those years, he was either being creepy then too and nobody stopped him, or oh, he only became that way or turned 25 years ago, confirm inappropriate behavior. Good thing you talked about it then, which maybe you did and nobody took you seriously, but oh my god, I can't. Yeah, people misframe this as me defending them, but is there nobody else? Oh, so no, squirting glue on somebody's face. Oh, so he was the only one. Dan Schneider is literally a god, and he can determine. What about the other producers? What about other staff? What about other... No, only he gets to say. Nobody said this at the time, but now you say it. Like, fucking stupid. It's all his fault. Nobody can say anything to him, I guess. Like, come on. Now, this sexualization issue is another topic, but it happens a lot. And you know what's interesting about it? The way people would defend it is that like, it's children who are the one who are watching it, so they might, whatever. I'm not saying that's good, but like if you're a 15-year-old watching a 15-year-old in that context, right? That's different than whatever an adult watching it and making it. So this is so selective. I just don't. You got to do it at the time. Like nobody. This is what oversight exists for. I don't care who you are, but there's a set of standards that you follow, and if you don't, there's other producers, there's other directors, there's other people on the project, other writers. What is he doing? Everything, and he has total authority. And what is he, George Lucas with the prequels? That's why they turned out some shit. I don't get it. What are they trying to say? And nobody says anything at the time, or it doesn't stop, or so this is the problem. You let him become successful doing what he did, or arguably, okay, he started afterwards, but you let him get to that point. How about you say this at the time to stop him from becoming so big and successful in the first place? They turned a blind eye because, oh, he was so successful, but why are people working with him then? Okay, they mistreat me, so I'm going to stop working with them. How about have high standards? Forget about whether you're a kid or not. I don't want to hear that. High standards. If they treat you wrong, don't work with them. Done. I'm going to quit this project. That's it. Like, you got to have high standards. And so the subject matter would be up to the network too, right? It wouldn't just be up to him. They would have to approve it all too. So, and so I don't know. It's very weird, man. And like, where do you draw the line with that too? Like, you'll show, like a teenage high school romance or something, and they kiss each other, right? So that's sexualizing them, but that's okay. But like, there's a limit or a certain way, or when they're by themselves. I don't know what it is, man. This is weird, man. Again, I'm not defending anything. I don't care. I don't fucking watch Nickelodeon, but something about this feels so sort of leaning, tilted. They're gonna attack you. Don't say anything, and then all of a sudden you tear the guy down after 20 years. This is like what happens in politics or something. Like, you let somebody, like Trump's a good example. Trump's this big bad guy, but the same people who say he's a bad guy now, like media and people like that, they help build him up. They give him positive interviews, they give him glowing media coverage, and now all of a sudden, oh, he's a bad guy. You help build him up. You build this guy up, and now you tear him down right when it's either convenient or when he's at his peak or something like that. It's very disingenuous. You got to hold the same energy the whole time. I don't believe that, all of a sudden he starts to act this way. He must have been doing it all along, and nobody was calling him, nobody was stopping him. It's not, so he was never perfect, and he was never, only just this bad. He must have been somewhere in between where he was always doing something bad, but he was always doing something good, like making successful shows, so they balance each other out. Not saying that makes it okay, but again, I'm more a fan of oversight. I don't know what this is. Like, we vilify the individual, so we're at the mercy of the individual in the future. I disagree with that standard completely. This I am just talking over. This is dumb. I don't want to watch this, but this happens with too many things, man. I'm not going to know what any of these shows are either. All that. Sketch comedy shows. So that must have been his big thing that got him famous. All that. Some people, like, they'll turn on you at this point. I don't know, man. The same people who build you up and get you to where you are the same ones that are going to attack you and tear you down. So they're two-faced and duplicitous that way, that I don't buy this at all. Because not even that I don't buy the content, but these people look like such fools because you would let it happen again. You would let it happen, you would work with the guy again, you would turn a blind eye again, and then 25 years later, oh, now we'll say something. Now we'll say it. Why don't you just make a fuss then, make a stink then? But you won't do it because you don't have the balls to do it. Or then you wait 20 years and now you do it. It's so stupid. I have zero respect for that standard. Again, the kid's notwithstanding, but there's other adults working on the project. It's so fucking stupid. It would make you think that I'm actually like the fan of the guy or something, but I'm not. And I could care less, and I'm not even defending him. I'm saying the standard that is being used here is objectively counterproductive. Because regardless of whatever happened, that's really what it is. Let's ignore the next bad behavior that happens. That's happening right now in Hollywood or elsewhere. And then we'll make a documentary about it 25 years later and feel really self-righteous about it. We'll turn a blind eye as it happens. Nobody cares about that. But then we'll milk it for content later or act like we've done something. Completely idiotic. Katrina Johnson, don't know what this is, don't know what any of this stuff is. But this turns into character assassination stuff. Now you'll attack everything he ever did. I'm always a fan of like specificity too, like what specific thing did he do? But then it's just like broad, like oh he had this character spray glue on her face, so that must be innuendo. It's like okay, but you know when you're looking in that perspective, like whatever, man. Tarantino likes feed, but that's with adults, so at least that's considered different. But I would also say network standards. So the network is to blame for allowing that kind of content. If they should have had oversight on the network, that would have prevented anyone from doing something bad, not making it about the individual and saying, oh, well, he's just a bad guy, so he did bad things, and in other words, you're at the mercy of the next bad guy doing bad things. No. The network would have oversight no matter who you are. We're going to say, no, this sort of content doesn't fly. Whatever it is, sexualizing kids or whatever. I would rather watch the shows they're talking about than actually watch this, but this is so triggering me, man. They're vulnerable because their parents are bad. Okay, here we go. Power balance is there, but there's certain, oh my god. But there should be some parent intervention that can happen. You tell your parents what happened, he made me do this thing that made me feel uncomfortable. Yes, complain and it goes away and it's worth it because that's so weak of an argument though. If somebody does something wrong, it's worth it to complain. Oh no, it might ruin my career, but if they're mistreating you, what? You don't ignore that. That makes no sense. So just don't say anything no matter what, no matter how extreme it is, and just tolerate it. No. If it's bad, say something. And if they don't listen to you, don't take you seriously. If they ruin your career, fine. But you know what that would at least do? It would have other people come out then, at the time, as it's happening, to stop it from continuing to happen. Then you could say, well, the same thing happened to you and whatever. I understand people won't necessarily take you seriously, but he's talking about a fucking prosthetic nose, like, and I even said, oh, I should talk less over it, but now I'm talking more. Oh, wow. He's saying it's like innuendo. He has a big nose. He has a big nose, and you're saying it's phallic imagery. It's a nose, bro. It's a fucking nose. What are you talking about? I don't know about that, dude. That's a stretch. But they are, when you... Oh my god, they're saying it's a cum shot joke, but it's a nose. He's a nose. He's sneezing on you, and it's... Are you stupid? Somebody sneezes on somebody, and you're saying it's a cum shot. What are you fucking talking about? Oh, this is what you got to do. If you don't like it, then don't do it. You don't... No. I don't approve of this mentality. They could push back. They could choose, I'm not going to work with you. I'm going to quit because I don't like the way he's treating me. That's it. And you might say, oh, you're a kid, but but you have parents. It's the parents' responsibility. Parents should have more oversight. Studio should have more oversight. That one was a real stretch, dude. I'm not trying to defend anything, but you're playing a character with a big nose and you sneeze on a girl, on somebody, and it's like you're comparing that to a cum shot? But how? You're sneezing. It's a nose. What do you mean, dude? If you think like this, you can find something sexual in anything. Like, see, you're going in with this preconceived notion. There's like a false duality. You've already decided, oh, let's try to cherry pick everything as sexual, and so now it sounds like you're defending against that. Like, that's just a specific skit. Like physical comedy, like, oh, you know, tripping and falling, or sneezing, or whatever, things like that. Do you really think they would have thought that in there? Yeah, I'm going to sneakily put this and use innuendo through the fact of a nose sneezing and analogize that. That's really what he did. Dan Schneider, the evil genius, sat there and said, I'm going to use sneezing on someone's face as a placeholder for coming on their face. That's literally, wow, what a genius guy. Why would that be a priority, and why would it matter? Like, why? I don't know. Because I've always wanted to see that. I've always wanted to see someone come with their nose on a woman's face. That's what really gets me off, dude. Dan Schneider, 2020 whatever, 2000 whatever. Incredible. You gotta understand, this is a documentary, or this is like a show. They had that as a serious take. A character with a big nose, a character with a big nose sneezes on somebody, and you're trying to sexualize that. What is the thing? I'm dead, dude. You could find a lot of sexualized elements, right, when they're on the bed and they're in the pose, as they call it, right, with their feet up in the air. There's like a million scenes like that from shows, not that I know from experience, but just I know it's like a whole community, you know, whatever, people who have feet fetishes and stuff, they find that pose attractive, like laying on their stomach with their feet up in the air, like behind them, right? And so the point with that is the simple fact that a lot of those might be younger actors, might be younger kids, Quentin Tarantino style, even though he does it with adults more. It's just... So he helped Amanda Bynes build up her career. I don't know, dude. You let him go all over the place, and you... Do they use their real names on there? She says, I'm Amanda on all that. Or I guess maybe that could just be one character that she plays. Oh, she whacked the chick on the head with a guitar. That could be a symbolism for rough BDSM roleplay, right? That's what it is. Like analogizing it to a whip. Yeah, it's sexualized, innuendo, everything, haha. So absolutely brain dead. Of all the things you could choose to show within the half hours of this first episode, documentary style, that nose one really hurts your credibility, because that just shows you're going to reach for it. Even though the kid who played it is also saying it now as an adult, I guess. But I don't know. Parents were on the show, and they never said anything or did anything because they're just passive observers, mindless, helpless sheep. So, of course, blame the big bad guy and don't do anything about it. That's what you got to realize about human beings and society as a whole. They're just mindless sheep. They have no volition, they have no self-awareness, they have no self-control, they have nothing. They're just mindless victims on rails, and only the big bad guys who do things control everything. You just have to uncritically accept it and then complain about it later. You can't do anything to stop it. You're just helpless. Doesn't matter if you're the kid, doesn't matter if you're the adult, doesn't matter. You can't do anything. Just sit there and do nothing and then complain about it later. Thumbs up. Great take. Really great. Okay, we're almost halfway through the thing. I'm not gonna watch this. Forget this, dude. Watch it until you get so triggered. Like, it's utterly stupid, man. It doesn't mean that he didn't do anything wrong, but I know like a hit job type of thing when I see it. Same thing like with Trump. You don't have to like Trump to see how much vitriol and bias there is against him, and how inconsistent that even is with the way that it went along the way. Like, for example, all those years, you can look at some of these same people. Oh, he was on the Tonight Show, or he was on Oprah Winfrey, and now those same people would say, oh, he's evil, don't vote for him, he's terrible, he's destroying this and that. Even before when he ran the first time, not even like what he did during his term. Like as soon as he ran, the same people who said positive things, gave him glowing interviews, were friends with him, whatever, it all goes out the window, right? And now all of a sudden he's the bad guy. Like, how does that happen? So it's not a question of their position. Maybe they're right, maybe he is bad, or maybe they were right in the first place. But whatever their position is, for it to change like that and to be so inconsistent, it hurts their credibility. Because even if you're right now, you were wrong all that time, and you helped build him up, and you helped make him what he was, right? And so now you're going to say that and act like, oh, now we're credible? How can you do that when, when he's in a position where this is almost just good? Like, I don't even have to act like I'm reacting to anything. I can just turn it into like a radio show type of thing and just use this as motivation for subjects. But I don't know, this is hard to do when you're like not pausing it. My style would be more conducive to pausing, because even the short form reaction style stuff I don't like to do. Like, oh, look, that character just jumped out. Wow, scream and yell, it's so scary. Or, wow, look at that thing that just happened. That sure did just happen. Wow. Like, it doesn't have any substance to it. So let me try to see if there's something else I can watch, but it's hard to navigate this thing in terms of the position of it. I was doing some sort of analysis on The Mentalist earlier with all the Red John suspects. That's one that I keep bringing up, is just The Mentalist in general. I almost should watch like the end of that series, but I almost don't even want to. Or I would almost like rewatch something, but I would rather watch something similar, like Monk. Right, Monk is what people say inspired a lot of those shows, like Psych, and then later, obviously, The Mentalist copied Psych 2 very directly. So, like, this kind of quirky, eccentric detective who's very smart, or whatever it is. And so, Monk is a very well-regarded series, and there's probably a lot of other ones like that I haven't seen. Maybe Columbo, maybe something else. There's one involving a courtroom setting that I liked, or that's what I should actually look for, some kind of because I love those kind of environments if they take themselves seriously at least, or even if they don't. Like Phoenix Wright can still be pretty fun at times. So, I don't know. The biggest problem here is the fact of the background sound is a little bit off. Aside from that, it's pretty much perfect, because thanks to the fact that I have the Bluetooth thing now, you won't even be able to hear it. Right, you won't even be able to hear the thing that I'm listening to. So that in itself is fine, because you get to basically not even have to worry about that competing with me. And then so anything, if I wanted to show, I could show it later, but I kind of don't want to show it. My whole style is I want to do it just with timestamps. Like, I'll just show you what part of it I'm on and what I'm watching, and the rest of it doesn't matter, because you can either watch along, or if you don't, then you either watch along, or if you don't watch along, then you can just listen, I guess, to what I'm reacting, and you'll kind of know if you've already seen it before, like what scene I'm reacting to. Or that's what I don't like to do, is like, oh, I'm just narrating what's happening. She just said this, but you would already know she says this, right? That's the whole strength of the reaction thing. You would know what I'm reacting to, but it's kind of hard to measure it like that too. So that was garbage. I don't know why I even watched it. It's just dumb. Like, okay, the guy committed a crime, arrest him, put him in jail, and be done with it. But don't do all this gossipy type shit. Like, what specifically did he do wrong? Don't let him work in the industry. Like, just be clear and decisive. Don't do this dancing around the shit. So I don't know what to watch even. Like, maybe HBO Max wasn't the best choice. Like, there's a lot of stuff on here, but no, I especially don't like the character assassination, because this is the same guy you would have dealt with all these years, and now all of a sudden you're gonna do this. The Zone of Interest. Now that's a movie, isn't it? Because that was nominated for like Oscars or something. Whitewater. Oh yeah, Breaking Bad. Walter White. Haha. I haven't seen that. That could be a good one, but I wouldn't want to watch it like this. This is what I mean. Or I don't know how to. I almost feel like I would have to pause it, but I just can't either. Or I don't want to do it like that. Or I'll try to make these things more short form, but the best element, I always like to do it a little bit more long form than that. Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, there's going to be some good stuff like that. I don't know if that's even on here, Breaking Bad, I just thought of it. Like, people always regard that so highly. Dexter is one that people always said I would have liked because I like all these kind of detective style shows. That's almost from the opposite perspective, though, I think, where it's like in the criminal's perspective, like, you know, he's actually the bad guy. The Brett Partridge, the origin story, or whatever, like if he had been Red John, that's almost what it would have felt like. Somebody who's working like in forensics and doing that. Silicon Valley. So what you have to do here is you have to figure out what you want to watch next. I keep thinking I'll figure it out easily, but then once you start driving, it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know what to do, really. I can't really navigate this super well either. The way they have this front page is not very good because they keep showing you the same things over and over. I want to see something different, dude. I want to see something like, even YouTube's better than this, like where you can keep reloading and it'll keep showing you something different, suggested stuff. So, whatever, dude. This is kind of dumb, but whatever. We'll get in the groove of it, so I'll decide something to watch. Again, I could watch a series that I've already seen and try to finish them, or I could try to rewatch them, or I could try to watch something similar. Or I could like analyze them, you know, in a way. Then I wouldn't feel as bad for talking over, because then I've already seen it too. But we got that solar eclipse thing coming up. Or I could watch like anime and stuff like this too, obviously, that I haven't seen. Oh, there was one that I actually did want to watch. It's like Serial Experiments Lane, and that would be fun because it just like I like the art style, and it's like the advent of the internet or computers or whatever, where she starts to become obsessed. That's all I know about it. Let's see if that's on HBO Max. I would watch that right now. Fuck it. It's like I was almost trying to save these for a better environment to do it in, but this is the best way for me to do it because I'll always have time here because I am driving a certain amount no matter what. I just can't even really navigate this because it's at the sideways angle that I'm trying to do. So I don't know what to make of it. Like, this could actually become pretty dangerous if you fucking whatever. But the Bluetooth element is at least nice. The angle is fine, although I hate the fact that it forces you into some sort of a landscape position with respect to I don't know. There's this show called V that's like about something to do with aliens pretending to be people or something like that. With Morena Baccarin or whatever, who was very attractive in her role as what's her name, Erica Flynn in The Mentalist, with the short hair. That's always her signature look, I think. She like always has short hair, or usually in most of her roles. But no, the way she played that smart, seductive, charming, almost like a dominatrix type character, but not really, because she was more whatever. It wasn't like forceful like that, but she was very good at getting her way and charming people. She's in the jail and she seduces the guard to give her phone call when she wants or something. So she's very good at that, and she was like a matchmaker herself. So I don't know. I don't feel too good right now. Let me see. That show was so bad it gave me a stomach ache. You get to hear my constipated sounds or something. Oh shit.